Oysters Rockefeller, you've had them, but have you ever made them? I've got the perfect recipe. First step is to take our oysters that have been cleaned and place them in a stock pot, pour in some beer and enough water just to cover the oysters, add a couple cloves of garlic, peppercorns, and seasoned salt, and bring this to a boil. The purpose of this step is to incorporate a little bit of flavor from the beginning, but also make it easier for the shells to crack open, and then we can just take the tops off and fill them with our delicious sauce. Once they come to a boil, remove them from the heat, drain them, and let them cool. Once the oysters are cool enough to handle, break off and discard the top shell. You don't want to let them boil really for longer than 30 seconds or so, because then they're just going to be like steamed, roasted oysters. They're already going to be fully cooked before we even put them in the oven. You want them to still be mostly raw. Now for the sauce, the Rockefeller sauce. If you see anything that has the name Rockefeller in it, it's generally going to have spinach in it. The spinach represents the money and the wealth of Mr. Rockefeller himself. Start by melting the butter. Once the butter is melted, I'm going to just saute some onion and a little bit of garlic. Just cook that until it's nice and soft. This recipe actually calls for frozen spinach, but I think this is the perfect time to use fresh if you have it. It's not going to really alter the recipe. We're going to add this in while the onions are sauteing, and once your spinach is cooked down, I'll add in the other ingredients. Now that the spinach is cooked, I'm adding in the cheeses. I've got Monterey Jack, some mozzarella, and creamy, delicious fontina. This is a little bit of a twist onto the classic, making these oysters super cheesy and delicious. I'll just cook this while stirring until the cheese is all melty, then stir in the milk, salt, and pepper. Look at this. Look at that. This would taste good just spooned over toast, but let's top the oysters. I'll take this delicious sauce, I'm gonna spoon it over these oysters, just filling the shell and sprinkle them with the breadcrumbs. Once these are topped with breadcrumbs, I'm going to pop them in the oven now, 425 degrees for just about 8 minutes, or until they're just bubbly, gooey, and delicious. We just created a fancy dinner party right here. They're perfect as is, or you can brighten them up with a little lemon juice and hot sauce. Yes, sir. If you've got a special occasion coming up, this 5-star rated Oysters Rockefeller is the recipe to try. Dig in.
All right, I go eat some